Perfect. Okay, guys, so welcome everyone, and thanks, Aref, for joining in. Aref is a former ace tennis head coach and Davis Cup player for Tunisia. He worked and mentored under the legendary coach Bob Brett and was a leader of the Toronto National Training Center. Aref also coached former US Open champion Bianca Andreescu, and as well a top 100 ATP Tour player, Yuichi Sujita. Maybe that's how you say it, but it's not. I was hopefully pretty close. So welcome, Aref. Let me just see if we can get you on unmute here. Let's see here. There we go. Perfect. Welcome, Bud. Actually, for those of you that don't know, here's a little fun fact for you. Aref actually lives directly across the road from me. So me and Aref see each other all the time. Unfortunately, most of the time it's at 5:40 a.m. when we're both heading out the door on the way to work. So we don't always get to chat too much. But Aref is a very dedicated coach and has been for a long time. He's somebody that I also got to spend time coaching with, and I learned a lot from Aref and still do to this day. So I also had the pleasure of doing my level 4 certification with Aref. So we got to spend some time together in that course as well. So thanks, Aref, for joining us today. Maybe we can start with a little story maybe about you. So you grew up in Tunisia playing tennis and eventually, playing for the Davis Cup team. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you got involved in tennis and how it led you to playing on the world stage, playing Davis Cup.
Thank you, Mike, for the invite. It's a privilege to be here and to basically share a little bit of the things that I've done. And thank you for the kind words that you mentioned. We all. I hope, before even I start, I'm gonna try to make whatever question you ask me just a little bit of story, just based on my own experience. And some of you heard my story before, some of you did not. And if you did, there is a little bit of moral. I will go through it, moral of the story. It's the thing that you can take for your own development and for your own success if you want to. Thank you again, Mike. Thank you very much, you and ACE people. So my story, I started as a swimmer, age of 9, 2 years. I started competing. Every morning I start in the morning. I got a little bit sick. I got there is allergies. My nose is a little rainy and my eyes are red all the time. And I decided to stop. And from a sports family, basically, my dad is very kind of like sports. And when I said I don't want to swim, he got a little bit. How can you stop? So I said I don't like it. I'm not enjoying it. So I picked up soccer from the neighbors. Playing soccer, we play for yogurt. I remember we bring 2 yogurts. You take 10 yogurts. We play kind of tournaments. You win. So I picked up soccer from there. I played a lot of soccer when I was young, but I've never trained. I just picked it up through my friends until my dad changed job, and his job was next to a tennis court. So he leaves me in his office, 5 minutes max. I'll be going in the bleachers watching tennis. Where is Aref? I was back then I was 10, 11 years old. And he goes, what is Aref? And he finds me in the bleachers watching. Day after day, past 4 days, and he said, do you like this game? I said, Dad, this game is so easy. He said, how? I said, I see them putting the ball in the small box, playing in the big box. Easy. My dad, we cannot afford, we don't have money. My dad barely basically making a living. He went to his friend, carpenter, he made him a paddle, tennis paddle. And he brought me in front of a wall outside of the tennis club. Back then, tennis was for lawyers and doctors. So he said, if you can hit this, and this, you become a believable player, 4 hours every day. And back then, the heat in Tunisia is like you're going through an oven. hard, very hard. I'm against the wall. My dad tells me I'm gonna do this. This is easy. Every day, 4 hours against the wall. Boom, 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 boom. Until I got tired. 4 months passed, I got tired. My dad used to give me $1. I remember. He said, if you get hungry, go grab something to eat. So I see those kids passing with their rackets going in the club. I'm like, no. So I said, do you want to play me? He's like, no. And I used to be fat. Used to be, they call me fatty or chubby. So he's like, no, you're chubby. I said, look, you beat me, I'll give you $1. Huh? And he said, and he makes me put it in that spot. He said, no, put it in there before I play you. So I get to borrow the racket and I get to play in the court. So he's like, I lose for 4 months. I get upset. I go back in the wall. No, I couldn't. Why did I lose? I gotta keep going. I need to work. 6 months, I have to make up story for my dad. That sandwich was so good. Back then, $1 can make a drink and a sandwich. And I go, one day, they organized a tournament. I bet $3, I remember. You have to pay three. My dad is like, no, there is no way. You don't know how to play. You've never played in the court. But he doesn't know that I go on court. I said, Dad, I'll do anything. Anything you want, I'll do. Please let me play. Let me play the tournament. So I went, play the tournament and knock out the first one. The second one is like, my dad, this guy, my son has a talent. I came across semifinal. You play 2 rounds, I think you get to the semifinal. I got against these guys, well ranked in Tunisia. I remember I was up 7-4. And I don't know. They tell me, switch, you down, you switch, you won the game. Okay, now you sit down. No, I don't know anything. I just hit and turn around. I see him turning around, I turn around. I remember my pants, I don't even have shorts. I pulled up my pants and I pulled up my sleeves up because I got hot. So I got even sweaty. So I lost. I remember I lost. The next day, this member over there, I still remember. It's called Atlas Sportwear. They got me a bag of clothing and a racket. He said, free membership for life. I said, this guy, he's against the wall now. He's beating this guy. Bring him. Bring your family, he said. He said, and I remember they were joking. He said to my dad, he said, if you're thinking of making another kid, just bring a girl, please. Have a girl for the family. So I brought my family. So the journey started a little bit there. So we were 2 brothers, me and my dad. So we leave 5K from the club. So 2 on the motorcycle, 1 running. 5K. And you train for 4 hours. And my dad, first month, is like, now when he comes at 6 o'clock, he said, competitive time, you lose, you run back. So imagine you 5K, 4 hours, 5K. So we'd be, me and my brothers, like we play for our life. So we started developing that every single day. We play here and there, and we compete. Until basically a certain time, we had to go. Basically, we left to Tunisia. We left to Tunisia. We left to the capital. Then we started pushing each other. One pushes the other one with my brothers, and we're trying to teach each other. We're trying to help each other. So, and the story goes on when we go to Tunis and all of that. And then, like if I go back now to the morals of all of this part of my story, we can go more through other challenges and other basically commitment and passion of the game. So, like if you look at the running, the game of tennis, you have to run. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to go and run. If you don't run, go pick up golf if you want. Just swing and walk. As simple as that. Against the wall, which is people don't play against the wall as much. They need to go to play against the wall. You need to compete. It doesn't matter you'd like it or not. The game, any sport is competitive. You need to compete. And my dad did not know all of this, and just he does it like naturally, but we picked it up through that. So for the kids that I'm talking to, you guys need to do all of this to have a chance. And I was reading the other day, it's like 0.012% of people making it to the pros. So for you have that 0.01, and you work. And imagine if you don't work. You know, until we got in a higher level, we wanted to put, and I was lucky to have two brothers with three of us in the tennis. In tennis, we every day we talk tennis, we sleep tennis, we we help each other. And if it wasn't for my brothers, or what, I don't think I won't be here. You know, so I'll cut it short because maybe you have more.
Wow, that's that's a pretty amazing story, though. Yeah, it's yeah. For those of you that don't know, I mean, Arf has two brothers that also played on the Tunisian Davis Cup team. They also coach at a very high level. One of his brothers is currently working with Ons Jabeur, which I'm sure many of you know. She's a top WTA level player. So, you know, there's a lot of great family history here with Arf and his brothers, and you can see why. You know, like Arf said, the values that he grew up with, and how his father managed to push them. And you know, it's like you find a way. You know, you don't always have the best, maybe the best equipment or the best tennis courts or whatever, but you know, it's like they make use of what they have, and at the end of the day, it's really the strong values that really made a difference. So wow, that's really amazing. So I guess, you know, you're in Tunisia, and you're playing at a high level, and now at some point you decide to come to Canada. So how does this all come together?
I think Tunisia is a small country, you know, with not a lot of opportunities for me. And I saw tennis as my way to pursue better opportunities. And then I met Pierre Lamarche. I think most of you knows what Pierre Lamarche is. You know, helped change my life, basically. You know, Pierre was hired by the Tunisian Federation to be the leader of Tunisian tennis. And he coached me and my brother in the national team for several years, I think, when he was in Tunisia. And basically, he led us to play the Davis Cup as three brothers. I think first ever. I think I'm not sure, but the first ever that we have three brothers in the Davis Cup team with Pierre Lamarche. You know, through the years, he became a mentor to me and my brothers. As I struggled to find myself, like in Tunisia, I think he advised me to come to Canada for better opportunities. Uh, I was convinced that this was my way forward in life, like to get out of that basically lifestyle in Tunisia. I left Tunisia for Canada knowing only like 5 words in English. I remember, like book, because in Tunisian book is a it's a in Tunisian is your dad, copybook, dad, door, hello, how are you? That's what I know coming in here. Uh, you know, I to say that I will always owe Pierre for helping me find my ground in Tunisia. That's a big thank you, and big a credit to Pierre Lamarche. And it's become my home for several years, and that is where I started tennis coaching journey. You know, uh, as a young kid back then, I was always my dream to go to the United States, and I guess I landed in Canada, which is close enough. So
Yeah,
that is how I came.
right. And for those that don't know, Arf came to Canada, and he graduated, and he actually went to the US on scholarship. So he did end up at the US for some period of time, and he competed as an NCAA athlete, and then came back to pursue his coaching career. So wow, okay. So I guess you know, you're coaching, and then at some point you get hired by Tennis Canada under the mentorship of Bob Brett, who, you know, most of us know who Bob is. And so what are some of the lessons you learned from Bob that you can share with our students today?
Uh, I learned a lot from Bob, but I can give three things that I feel that stand out from his coaching. I think the number one is simplicity. Bob was very simple in basically giving the lessons, explaining to the kids, even living his life as a simple guy, as a humble guy, very humble, very easygoing, very. Uh, uh, I think making everything easy and simple for the kid to learn. I think that is the number one that I take from Bob. The second one is attention to details. I remember I came to Bob first time. I was very like kind of ticked off, not ticked off, but I was kind of surprised. Like Bob is in the center, nobody comes and asks him questions and just try to learn. And I go to Bob, I said, "Can you make a deal like this? Can you teach me every day one thing? I can come and I do whatever you want me to do." He goes, "Okay. We start at 7, you come at 6:30. We finish at 6, you finish at 6:30. You make sure that you pick up all the balls. You make sure you put all the equipment." I said, "Deal." So sometimes I pick up all the balls. I go through the whole like curtains in and out and looking, and all of a sudden I come back in the morning and I see one ball on top of the basket. When did he find it? When did he have the time? I come early. And he doesn't say anything to me, he left the ball. So even picking up the balls was a big deal with him. Like I remember he went to Canadian Tire. He asked me, "Can we go to Canadian Tire?" We went and we got buckets. I said, "What?" He said, "What is that for?" He wanted us to pick up the balls with the bucket as fast as possible so we don't have to waste time. So to give you those like very detail oriented, and he was actually teaching us how to tie our shoelaces for the kids and how to put his socks so he doesn't get blisters. So the little details sometimes we miss as a coaches and as a players as well. So for us to paying attention to those little things and will make a big difference. Like talking to my brother, I remember once it's playing one of the tournaments. She had to be in the room for I don't know how many weeks, and she did not do her fitness in the room with her tennis shoes. As soon as she left the room to practice, she started getting blisters, which has affected her in her match. She couldn't even play. She had to stop. Those are little things to just to wear it or to take care of your socks or to have to basically dry your socks or anything. Those are little things that makes a big difference. But sometimes we don't pay attention to it. And the most important for me, the lesson that I got from Bob is he was, how can I say this? He was correcting the players without telling them what they did wrong. So what does that mean? Like he was letting the drill do the correction without him telling him, putting words or telling him that you did something wrong. So that was a little bit of eye-opening for me. Like you don't have to talk or you don't have to tell them you did something wrong, but he was correcting them indirectly without the kid feeling not good or feeling that he's making mistakes or feeling like it's, oh, I'm not good or all of that. So that was my 3 lessons that I think that that I learned the most from Bob.
Awesome. Thank you, Arf. And I know how special Bob was to you, and what a great connection you guys had. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about maybe your time at the center. So when you were there, you got to be, quite heavily involved in Bianca Andreescu's development. And so that was obviously a big deal. So maybe you can talk a little bit about Bianca and kind of what made her stand out from the others.
I think the number one key for Bianca was the ability to learn, the coachability. She was very coachable, very open-minded, very just give me anything that I will do. Like anything. I remember anything you'll give me, I will do it. Doesn't matter. Just tell me this, I will do it. I remember it's a funny story, but it's a, to tell you like her dedication and her. I remember we were in Hungary, we're playing a tournament, and that's what I started discovering that she's got a little bit of talent compared to the other people. And I said, look, if you listen, you're gonna do well. You're gonna start making a little bit of difference in your life and in your tennis too. So I said to her, okay, wait for, I'm like this, like we are in the tournament side. I said, can you wait for me a little bit? I'll be back. I go and I got basically busy with coaches and players, and it 1 hour left, 1 hour and a half when we were about to leave. Where is Bianca? I went back, she's still standing in this spot that I told her, wait for me. I'm like, really? She said, you told me, listen to me and you'll do, and you will get very good. So to tell you to that extent, like we talk and forget about information. As soon as I remember, I still have her tactics, and some of them actually she uses now since she was young. But if you give her something that she feels, not she feels that maybe now because she became a pro, but when she was young, as soon as you give her something, she will right away take it without any doubt, and she will keep asking for more and more. And I think that's the number one. Number two is goal oriented. She's huge. Like I remember a few months ago, 4 months ago, I texted her. I saw she's got an ad that she's supporting the animal shelter, whatever it is. So back then, when she was 12 years old, I said, Bianca, what do you want to be? What do you want to do when you grow up? And she's, by the way, one of them is to help the animals. And now look at her right now. She did not let go. No, somebody else has all of that money, all of that success. She will be like, nah, animals, okay, I've got other stuff to worry about. But when she sets a goal, I remember she goes, like anything that she will remember, her best place. I remember she would say, California. She always talks about California. And she said, that's my favorite place. She's like, not for the weather or anything, but to just, I like it. And guess what? One of her first tournament to win is Indian Wells. She's been always like, she's got them all in her mind. Very, 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 like she puts a goal and she will follow up on it regardless. Even with all what's going on, with the changes in her life, she still sticks to her goals. And the last one is mental stamina. Like I remember Le Petitas, she's playing quarterfinal, and she's always before the tournament, she's like, Aref, I want this so bad. I want this tournament so bad. And she goes 6-2 against this big girl. We call her Mother Russia, huge girl, like twice hers. And she's down 6-3, 5-2, 40-15. I start packing my stuff. I'm done. And she goes, I remember, Aref, like, I said, you're still in. 5-2, 5-3, 5-4, 5-7, 5-6 love. Like if she put, I remember another story too. She used to write before. So we talk about the match. She goes, she plays. Before she gets ready for the match, and then she comes back and I see I won in here, like in her here next to her thumb. She writes it down. I won. I said, Bianca, what is that? She said, I already won. I said, how? You didn't start? I already won. Don't worry. And she goes and wins and comes back. No problem. Like to tell you how much she's got that, like when she tries to push, she pushes. Like very, very impressive for a girl like that to have that mental like stamina, and she stays with it as much as you can until she gets what she wants. So those are most of the three things, and I think I urge the it's something that you have to work on. It doesn't come naturally. Goal oriented, everybody can do. Learning is just believing in whoever he's teaching you, your coach, or your mentor or whatever, and find a way like to get, it doesn't matter who he is. We all can learn. There is a proverb in Tunisia. They said, you find something in the river that you don't find it in the sea. So your river is nothing, but you might take anything from everybody, so you can learn. And the more you learn, you can, and having a growth mindset, it's huge. It's huge to get as much as you can. And that shows actually respect for who you're dealing with and who you basically trying to help you, because that's somebody that's trying to get you to become better in any ways, in life or in your tennis.
Yeah, I think those are some pretty special points, and probably that's gonna, my next question. I think you've already touched on quite a few things there, but I think watching Bianca and everybody here who's had the opportunity to watch Bianca, I think that we can definitely appreciate her competitive spirit and her, ability to compete so well and how fierce she is. I mean, I actually got to watch her play when she won Indian Wells. I was in Indian Wells as well at the same time, so I got to see her play Muguruza, who, I mean, Muguruza's one heck of a player, but she beat Muguruza in that tournament 6-love, 6-1. It was like not even a match. And it was just like from the first point to the last point, she was all over the girls. She didn't let up for 1 second. So yeah, it was kind of cool to get to watch her play in this tournament. That was, yeah, like you said, that was her first like really big breakthrough, where she went and won such a big tournament, and kind of took off from there. So we have people like Bianca and Dennis and Felix, building off of Milos and Eugenie. So Canada's having, this surge in success right now. So, what do you kind of advise for this next generation? How can they build off of this? How can they try to follow in their footsteps? What are some, tips or things that you can give this next generation on how to continue this?
Mike, I always give the story of Philip Peliveau. Philip Peliveau was number one in the world, juniors. We're talking boys. He was Wimbledon winner. He won Wimbledon. He won U.S. Open. Runner-up of French Open. Runner-up of Australian Open. So you cannot have a CV higher than this guy as a junior. And basically, his career high is 161, I think, in singles and ATP, and now I see currently is 388.
Okay.
So 388 right now. So here is an example of somebody, any tennis player right now. I don't think most of you will end up with that kind of highlights in your life. I remember I get the chance to see and work. No, work and play with a little bit. That's in Sinremo with Philip at Bob Brett Academy in Italy. So I saw him, and I'm not gonna say much about that, but I felt I had a talk with Bob, and we agreed with certain things that I saw. So for sure there's multiple factors that are played in him not to, because with that type of caliber of a player, that he number one in the world, Wimbledon champion, US Open champion, for sure, not even a top 100, top 20 or top 50. So for you to reach. So there is multiple factors that might play. I don't know the whole story, but what I've seen his game, the number one, I think kids, they don't focus too much on the fundamentals at an early age. What does that mean, fundamentals? They focus too much on winning now. At juniors, even if you work day and night, you're not going to reach what he reached. Most of our players, let's be honest, at this stage, we're not going to get maybe, but what he's done for every major, at least finalist he made, 2 winners and 2 finalists, and number one in the world. So with that, and yet he did not reach top 20. His highest is 161. So for that case, like, you look at Dennis, wasn't like that. He won Wimbledon, that's it. But he was playing, his fundamentals was, he has a game that allowed him to play with men's, not with boys.
Right. Yeah.
Bianca, the same thing. I remember Maria Tenisescu used to beat her up all the time. Bianca started hitting and Maria started lifting. Victor Khrushchev, I remember with Dennis, he used to beat Dennis all the time, but yet he's still, this is in front of me, like in the center. So with the number one is fundamentals. You have to go back to the basic. You have to start yourself strong. You don't have to worry about the juniors. You don't have to worry of winning now. You don't have to worry about, today or tomorrow. Look in the future, and you will catch up. You will. The people that you lose at the age of 13, 14, 15, you will catch up after. Not even 13, maybe 14 max, then 15, everybody will catch up. What type of game you're gonna have, and that's what's gonna catch you up. The second thing, and I say this a lot, and I think now the problem of coaches, players, and parents for this one, people don't work hard enough. They don't adopt the hard work at early age. So when they hit 13, 14, 15, and the work has to happen, too late. They get overwhelmed with the load of work, and they end up like, I did not sign up for this. I am sorry. And then it's too late. But there is nothing comes easy. Everybody worked hard. Everybody to get to that point in their life, they need to work hard. And he's still young. No, he's not still young. Push, see where he can go. You don't know where is his limits. Push a little bit to wherever he can go, and then you can push a little bit slowly. I didn't tell you to push right away, kill him, make him puke. No, just give him a little bit, stretch, get him used, get his body, get his mentality, get his, basically, that's what you signed up for. You want to become a player? This is what you want to do. This is your profession. Are you ready for this or not? If not, it's going to be late. And the third thing, which is, I call it fitness, mobility, flexibility. As simple as this. The game becomes very, very physical. And if you're not strong physically, it doesn't matter how good your forehand is, you're not getting there. And you're not getting there often, not once in a while, often. You're not gonna last. And I think there is multiple things, but I think the three things that I can summarize, and I think those are the three that I can go. And I tell the kids, look, I think we all agree with, you don't learn, you don't improve. As simple as this. You don't work hard, you don't plant the seed, you don't get anything after. And the fitness, which is part of everything. You're becoming a good athlete. You're not a good athlete, it doesn't matter who you are, you're not going to become good.
Yeah, I think those are some really good tips, and I think some of them have kind of hit home with some of the other speakers that we've got to have on this chat in previous weeks. I know Andre Lebel was really big on developing the athlete, especially at a young age, and saying a lot of the same things. So hopefully that they're taking note. I mean, you guys have done pretty well. I've seen lots of you. I think there was over 60 people today on the fitness session before this. So good job, guys. Keep up that good work. So, okay, I've kind of, I've got one more question for you here. And it's kind of like with our situation, we're in a lockdown right now once again, and players are experiencing a break in their training again. And so do you have any story for the players that could maybe inspire them to continue their journey and excel to new levels? You talked a lot about, finding another gear that they've got to continue to push. They've got to continue to work hard. So maybe you have a story from some player or some situation from the past for them.
I've got multiple stories, but I'll give one, maybe something that I did not touch on. Maybe I'll add. So I used to go to a boarding school. In a boarding school I used to sneak out of the boarding school. We get fed up with the same food and we want to change it up. We're tired of the same food eating. So we go out and we get some food, different food. And one day while we're eating, we talk about, what do you want to do after you graduate? So the next day we went and we bought this. So I have one in here. We have these pocket agendas, and the cover is a leather cover, small pocket agenda with a leather cover. You write something on it, you don't see it. So we sat down. Okay, what do you want to do? It. So my friend start going star, first line, two star next line, three star next, third, fourth line, five star. So I said, I'm going to study in USA on a scholarship. He started laughing. I said, Aref, be realistic. Back then, English for me, nothing. I remember the teacher tells me to read. I thought it's leave. I start packing my stuff and I'm leaving. And then my friends, sit, read, don't leave, don't leave. I have no idea what English is. And he's looking at me, you're gonna get your education in the USA? I said, yes, I'm gonna get this. I wanted to go. That was always my dream. I want to get a scholarship or I get something. So I left. I came to Canada with Pierre. Then I went to the States. And then after, I went back home. 6 years after, I haven't seen my friend, or 7 years. So I met up with him. He came. I'm looking at this guy, army dress, stars in here. I'm like, what? So those the stars are, remember? So he was pouring down, and back then, me and him we were actually in school for 4 years, and I'm like, how's those agenda going? Are you keeping up with the agenda? We're always reminding each other, not one day, not 1 month, not 1 year, and we kept that agenda, that cover always for 4 or 5 years, but we changed the papers, but we always kept looking. And until those are ranked of army. Like the first year, as soon as you graduate, you get the first star. He's a colonel, he's a major, he's a general major, whatever it is, he has them all lined up in here. I was very impressed. I've never thought that I will see him at that kind of thing. And it hit me home right away. So my advice to you, go get your agenda, get your pen, set up your GPS where you want to go. Don't worry about where you're going to end up. At least have something that you know where you're going. I think and start. And the key word, that agenda stayed in my pocket every time we're looking at it. Most of you write goals and never look at it. And you look at it until like another year and you forget. And the small goals that makes the big goals. Those are little things every single day. You write them down and you look at it. Those are what's going to make you a better player. You achieve your goal. It doesn't matter. You leave them. You can write all your goals all day long. It doesn't matter what type of goals you're going to write. But the agenda stayed in there every single day and look at it. Okay. And we're reminding each other, are you there? Are you close? Are you working towards it? I think, and even, if you don't have any destination, you're just going to be like roaming around everywhere and you never end up anywhere. And I think the one thing that we all agree to, everybody, you have to have some goals, and you start with the small goals on a daily basis. Especially now you are on a lockdown, you have nothing to do. The first thing you can do, just make goals, daily goals, make a schedule. See, today I'm going to achieve this. Learn one thing every day. Anything that you can do, and start building it until goals. You cannot even basically jump to your goal. You got to go through step by step, day, practice by practice, shot by shot, move by move.
Yeah, I think that's, wow, it's a really fabulous lesson that you just explained. And I think the part about the goal setting, I mean, that really hit home to me. And I completely agree with you on the fact that, setting goals are important, but always reviewing them, always, sometimes I tell the kids, like, whatever area you spend the most time, that's where you got to post your goals. If it's at your desk, you put your goals above your desk, or if it's, you know, at your bed, you put your goals right beside your bed. So every morning you see them and every night you see them, and having a plan, setting, you know, like you said, little goals for the day, little goals for the week, you know, put your check marks in there. Did you hit your tasks? And this is a really good way for everybody to kind of stay on track right now, because yeah, I think it's not easy, but you know, we're going to see some people come out of this stronger and better, maybe in better shape, maybe tougher mentally, maybe they've been at home, you know, working on whatever it is their coach has given them. And yeah, I mean, that's a great way to stay on track. It's write it down and have it with you, or post it somewhere where, you know, you're basically keeping yourself accountable. So Arf, thank you so much for doing this. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and I didn't hear all those stories before. So thank you for this. It was really interesting for me, and I'm sure for everybody else here. So once again, on behalf of myself and the Growing the Game initiative, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join in. And yes, we'll continue with our course tomorrow after the fitness. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mike.